Hey everyone, welcome. It's Jaff here from Medieval Mirage. It's great to have your company. I have been quite overwhelmed and very appreciative to every one of you for joining me on my YouTube channel. I it was just an unexpected response to this tutorial that I've uploaded on coffee staining with plastic lace in limited space. Thank you everyone for your wonderful support and for subscribing and all your beautiful comments. I'm so grateful. So here's my hugs and my gratitude. I appreciate every one of you, and I know well, how it all happened was I've just been again unplugged from social media. I do apologize that that happens to me all the time, but it just so happened that I was looking at the tablet that is signed in for my husband, not my name, because I do everything on my computer and I wasn't near my computer, and I just was curious to have a look at what the video looked like. I just thought I'd just check, you know, you never check your own videos when they're uploaded, and I got the shock of my life. But someone had actually mentioned, somebody had actually mentioned that they'd come over from Rachel of Roxy Creations, and so Rachel, oh my goodness, darling, thank you so much. I just am blown away by your continued generous spirit. You are a really beautiful, generous person, Rachel. You really are. You are amazing. So thank you, Rachel, for you know, for the shout out and the mention and your beautiful words. And I have not had the opportunity to actually comment because I've been quickly, madly deciding how I'm going to answer some of the questions or concerns that were raised. I felt it was my responsibility, now that I've put this out there, to kind of fine-tune some of the things that I had either forgotten to mention or to address something specific for some of the comments that have been left. So if I do miss out on anything, please do not hesitate to leave another comment. If you feel that I've overlooked something or overlooked someone, I do apologize for that. It's just hard to know how to juggle it all. But I'm going to do the very best to consider everything and to consider you all, because I once again, it's my way of thanking you all. Thank you so much. I'm really lost for words, and I am overwhelmed with gratitude and appreciation. So to every one of you, a massive thank you. So what I'm going to do in this video, I have got some very dark papers. Well, they're not super dark, but there are some darker than others. But if this happens to you, if for some reason the brew is too dark for you, there is a couple of things that you can do. Hey everyone, I'm back. I've got so many things racing in my mind at the moment, so I'm sorry if I'm going to go blah and say everything all at once, and I'm probably going to forget things, but I'm just scared I will forget, so I'm going to do my best. Okay, so we're going to be talking about how to deal with a bit of darkness to your papers, and if you feel they're just too dark. What I wanted to mention was, if you go back and look at the video again, I know it's a long way, but it's part one. I do, after I've shown you the papers, I do talk about the plastic wraps or the plastic lace, and then I do mention the recipe that I use. But you'll also remember that it really is only a guide, because you can dilute it. So you can follow the recipe, but rather than make it, like especially with tea, it's better to make tea stronger and then dilute it, and coffee as well. Tea can be a little bit harder. I don't know what I'm actually saying right now. It did make sense before, but anyway, there you go. But all I'm saying is, you don't have to follow my particular recipe. Test out your spray first. Do that first. Get some papers, spray it, decide, let it dry even, then decide what your preference is, darker, lighter, medium, or just as. And what I suggest that you do is you write down your recipe. So for example, you could write, say this is a blank piece of paper, write recipe 1, and on another piece of paper you write down recipe 1, and you write down exactly what you're doing. You're either, you know, how much water you used, or roughly how many tea bags or how many spoonfuls of coffee. And then you do recipe 2, so another piece of paper, recipe 2. So then of course obviously you make your concoction and then you spray it. Or it may be better, because you might only have one bottle, I would get a paper towel on recipe 1, right, dip it into your recipe for that particular one, and then, you know, smear it, you know, heavily smear it, let it dry. Then you do recipe 2 on another piece of paper, so pretend it's this piece of paper. Obviously this is blank, so you write recipe 2, and then you write down your recipe and go that way. And in this way you will fine-tune your own recipe that you can write down somewhere, and it will always be yours. You won't have to rethink it, because who wants to be rethinking anything? You just want to go and do your work and off you go. Okay, so it's my recipe for the coffee staining is only a guide. You can choose whether you want it darker or lighter. It's all up to you. You just have to add water. How easy is that? That I have so many techniques, and some of them, I think in the watermark one I do mention that these are the only tools you really need, aside from either stencils or plastic lace or whatever else you've got on hand. I forgot to show you this because in my mind I feel like I've already told you, and you know, I don't want to repeat myself and bore people to tears. So I kind of probably will just have to repeat myself. So if you can cope with that, then that may be the best, because then I won't miss out on important information that hasn't even been uploaded yet. Sorry guys about that. Now, what am I holding here? Your water, plain, boring water, coffee. This is just coffee just for the purpose of demonstration. I didn't have time to put the tea in. This is why coffee is so instant. Tea takes a while to brew. That's why usually coffee is my go-to, but I am enjoying using both together. So it is worth waiting for the tea to brew. Okay, why are these our best friends? Okay, I'm going to now address the first question, or not the first question, the first concern about the papers being a bit too dark. If this ever happens to you, and the other thing you can do, if you've got papers that are really, really boring, and I do show you that in that tutorial that has to do with the watermark. Now these are some of my old coffee staining techniques that I found that I hadn't done anything with them because they were just, I don't know, they just didn't sort of fit my mood at the time with what I was creating. Okay, so there's a couple of things that you can do, but the easiest way of doing this is, if this is too dark for you, and what I'll do, I'll link the video, that's what I'll do, I'll link the video in the description box for you, because that's one way of dealing with dark papers. And all I do is I use my water spray bottle. So you're going to need 2 of these, one for the coffee, tea brew, or whatever brew you prefer, and then this. You can just now spray this really heavily if you wish, and what will happen is you will reactivate the coffee and it will start to pull away from that. Now, you may actually want to prop it up somewhere or have some peaks and valleys, because the runoff will create new impressions or create different textures for you. So that's one way of dealing with it. Or, and I know I have a video somewhere, I'll have to go and find it. You can use stencils now, right? Or you can do this. Now I've got my new plastics here, and I've got them here for a purpose. Not long after I did my original video of this, I went, you know, my husband and I went down to Spotlight and got these. So I'm going to move these out of the way. So you can get long reams of these, and you can cut them up. You know how I was folding mine up here and there? You don't have to do it that way. You can cut them up at all different sizes, and then you can position them however you wish. It allows for possibilities that, you know, suit your preference and what's best for you. So I'm just using the ones that we worked with together. Okay, so all you're going to do is you're going to put your really very dark thingy, what do we call this, paper. Let's get another one. Where's a really dark one? Oh, this is what I wanted to show you. So these were really dark. Can you see those two there? These were really dark, and if you follow my tutorial that will be in the description box, I show you how to get these effects. It's just water on already dark coffee stain paper. That's all you do. So easy. So the water was sprayed, it starts to pull up all the, see all that? That was like that. But all the, what do we call it? The coffee was activated, lifted up, and it pulled and gave you this fantastic watermark. So absolutely love that. So these were just examples. I'm not, yeah, I sometimes hoard my papers. I just love them too much. Terrible, I know. Okay, so what's another piece of paper? It's a bit heavy. Sorry, they're not really that dark actually. Sorry, I should be showing you, shouldn't I? Yeah, no. I don't really have much. So we'll just maybe have to go, oh, here we go. Here's one. It's a very busy one, so it's probably not going to work very well. So I'll be back in a sec, everyone. Okay, so I just found something a little bit better. It does help if it can be, you know, more of a uniform background for it to be effective. But yeah, so I just found this piece of paper. But once again, you can see I've obviously played with it, and I've received that kind of effect. That's the other side of it. But it's beautiful actually, but I just haven't got many dark papers. Yeah. Okay. So, but this is my darkest. Let's put that in the center. All right. Okay, I don't know if I'm making any sense right now. I think I've confused myself. If you're confused, then yeah, you're in good company, because I don't know what I'm talking about. Sorry. Okay, let's do this then. Now, just for the sake of this, I'm not going to do the whole image. Let's move this over the way. How about we just we'll just straddle this over these two. And I'm standing in the directional heat of our heater. So it's good that I'm doing this here, because, ooh, let's get this out of the way, because it means that while I'm working, at least it's going to hopefully speed dry it, and then you can, you know, yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm going to now just grab my water, and I've straddled the plastic over on it. This actually might not be the best choice. Let me go to I might just, I'm going to change it, guys. Sorry, I don't have many choices here. I'm going to go with this one, okay, because there's a lot of space for the water to go into, and that should help reduce the darkness. So there are two techniques, as I mentioned. Try the one in the description box, because just spraying this with water without a stencil, it will lighten it, because it's going to activate the coffee and bring it off, and it will run off somewhere. But you may need to sort of create a little bit of a, I don't know, not a flat surface, but rather a little bit of a peaks and valleys sort of thing, like in the description box. Or you can do this. I'm sorry, I know I'm long-winded. Please forgive me. Okay, so all we're doing now is we're really letting go. Like, we're doing this full on. Whoops. It's just full on, everyone. And what we should have done, how about I get one of the plastics? I'm going to add this underneath it as well, just to create those peaks and valleys. That's a bit too much. Let me just set myself up here. Okay, so it's not necessarily creating anything pretty in this instance. It's more about, sorry everyone, it's more about just lightening it, but still getting a little bit of an effect on it if possible. Yeah, it's just another way of dealing with the heavy papers. And if you want to, you can always put printer paper, I should say, underneath here. You can lay that down so that whatever, it could be your mop-up paper rather than paper towels. Talking about that, we're going to let that do its thing, and we'll have a look at it in a moment, or in a few minutes. Okay, now let me address some of the concerns that some have had. So for every one of you, I will be getting back and leaving a reply as best I can. I'm not always in YouTube. I don't sign in. I'm always signed out of Instagram and YouTube, so I never know what's going on unless I choose to go in there. So please do forgive me if I don't immediately respond, but I do try to get to you. Yeah, so either if I don't actually leave a message, you'll certainly be getting a like or a love heart thingy, because I do appreciate what everyone has to say. Everything that you have to share is important. It's important. So thank you, everyone. So right, so we're going. See, I'm actually really nervous. I am so nervous. I don't know if this is in focus or whatever, but I am a bit nervous because it's just sort of dawned on me this incredible responsibility of providing what I can to support this video of mine. Yeah, so yeah, I've forgotten what I was saying. Please forgive me. This is a fly by your seat of your pants sort of a video. I just felt this incredible responsibility now that I've put this video up there, just to kind of fill in some of the gaps or some of the things that I've forgotten to share, and also to address some of your concerns. So the first one was, if your papers are too dark, I will have something in the description box, so check that out, for you to kind of follow the principles of it. Or you can do what I've just done. Now it may not be, oh, you can already see how it's lightening that, but we won't look at it yet. I might just decide to put a little bit more again. Okay, so I've got the directional heater, the directional heater. So this is where the heater is. Okay, so I'm over here. Okay, sorry if I made you car sick then. My apologies. And I'm tongue-tied again today. I'm sorry. I'm probably saying sorry. You'll be sick of hearing me say sorry. All right, now let's hope this is in focus. Okay, so that's addressing darker pages. And I know I'm repeating myself, but you are in control of the brew. I've given you a guide or how I do it. You decide if you want it darker or lighter by how much water you put in there. So just make sure you have some equipment that measures how much water you're putting in, because that's going to be the recipe that you can write down. So say you are doing exactly what I'm doing, right? So say you're doing, you know, a mixture like mine. Just write down what you're going to add to it, and then you'll get the right combination that suits your needs. Okay, so that's done. I've just got my little note paper here. I've said all my thank yous, and thanks Rachel, and thanks everyone else. Thank you everyone. Oh, Spotlight. Okay, so Spotlight, I'm going to leave links for you. That's what I forgot to do, and I'll try and remember to do that to the other video too. So not long after I did that video, I went, the ones that are uploaded, which was in the middle of May last month. Oh, no, in May. Yep, middle of May. This one's my favourite, so I had to get tons of it because that's going to be cut up. So I'll be cutting these up. I'm still going to use the other one the way that I showed you, but these will be cut up for the layers on top. Okay, now where are we? Just got these a bit wet, and then I went for this one. I got this one because I liked the edges of that especially, but yeah, really pretty little design. So I've got a bit of that, but my favorite is the other one. And of course they don't sell this one anymore, well, not that I can find, and I really love that. I just love it so much. All right, so there was something else I had to say, so I'll leave a link below. Now, I think it was Peggy Cloud. Let me just check my notes here. They're all over the place. Peggy. Yeah, Peggy Cloud. Okay, hi Peggy. Now you were saying that you've got a plastic that has the holes on one side, the plastic lays on one, but not on the other. Well, as you can see, you'll still get effects, but they will be on one side. You're right, they will be on one side. I don't know if you can see the weave of this, but can you see that it's see-through? That's what you're after. If you can pull, like I don't know what you've got, and I'm not really very familiar with plastic lace tablecloth, so I've got no idea. Can you remove it without compromising the integrity of the lace on the top? That's the only thing I can suggest. If you're willing to desecrate one of your plastic lace tablecloths, can you do that? Just remove the back of it and separate it so that you've got your plastic lace. The only other thing I can suggest is, if it's an old one and you don't care, you could still cut it up, but you would have to put them back to back if you wanted to get a lace impression on either side of your papers. I don't know. It's just something that you could just experiment with and see how you go. So I hope that answers your question, Peggy. Thank you for asking it. Okay, now one of my Etsy customers, Tammy, hi Tammy, she suggested, you know how there was a lot of pooling going on in that video, and I don't even know that these things existed. So there you go, I learnt something myself. You can, is it a turkey baster thingy? I don't know, but you can, it helps you suck out, you know, it's like a suction thing. and you can suck it out, suck out the excess fluid and put it into a container or squirt it around on the top again. So that's a really great idea. Thanks for that, Tammy. Good idea. Also, what else did she say? She told me something else. Oh, a couple of you, who was the other lady, mentioned pouring it into a bottle. Yep, so Tammy and, is it Sheila? Hi Sheila, and Tammy, hi. Okay, so the only thing is with that, let me just see. It does become heavy. One of the things is it does become quite heavy, and you will need, because sometimes the papers can come loose and it's a very awkward shape, you do need to have this on the top if you're going to be pouring anything out. So a suction thingy might be the best way. So that's a very clever idea, Tammy, by the way. Thank you for that. I don't have a suction thingy, so someone might want to suggest that, which one to use. I've never experienced that myself, but I'm sure my husband would know. He just knows everything. He's an amazing guy. But he's at work today, unless he's coming home. Oh, is he coming home? No, I just thought that was someone coming in the driveway. Yeah, so if you're worried about that excess, you can put the lid on top and pour it into a bowl rather than a bottle, because you will have trouble doing it in a bottle, I'm telling you. And then you can get one of those little funnely things and pour from your bowl the excess coffee, so that you know you can still keep reusing it. So it's good to recycle when we can. But you know, I was doing it for the purposes of a tutorial, and that's why I was just chucking it out rather than thinking about recycling what was already there. So your suggestions are really appreciated and have a very valid point. So that's just something to consider. But I will explain to you that it can get a little bit awkward when you've laid a lot of them to be tipping things out. It is very challenging, I'm telling you. You almost need someone to help you almost hold the papers from falling out. And they do stay in place, but yeah, just be careful with that, that's all. So I guess what I would be saying, get one of those suction things and suck out all the moisture if that was what you were worried about. I might see if I can look up suction volume, yeah, suction thingies. Yeah. Okay, sorry everyone, I'm still here. I'm just standing next to the camera looking at my notes. Sorry to bore you to tears here. Right, now someone said it's Joanne. Hi Joanne. I don't know, she was wondering if the texture would be lost if you didn't, I can't read my writing. I'm sorry, Joanne. You were worried about the texture being lost if it's not oven dried. I'm not sure. Or that if it was outside, it would lose its texture. I don't think so, Joanne. The texture will be fine. Drying them outside, this is what this method is all about. Sorry everyone, I just knocked the tripod there. This method is all about making things easy for you. You can put this anywhere you want out of the way and let it do its thing. So hot weather is fantastic. Yeah, put it outside. You can have the lid half on, like if it's a bit windy, you can have the lid sort of half on so that insects and spiders and all sorts of nasties don't drop in there and be uninvited guests. Or you can leave them like that if you've got the lace on the top. You'll just have to monitor that. But this is going to speed up your drying process if you are leaving this outside. Absolutely. I've just been doing it inside because it's weather. It's you know, we've got winter here, everything's damp outside. So this is what it's all about. It's moving this around in any room of the house where you get a bit of directional heat, putting it out of the way, you go on with your business. And yeah, and you can use this as a tabletop to work with. So if some of the top papers are coming up, you know, dried, then you just leave them on the top and just keep layering them on the top. Because you want, this is all about working in limited space. This is your spot. You just need only your box and your lid to do all your work. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, definitely outside is absolutely fine. Go for it. Who else? Now, someone was talking about Brian. Hi, Brian. You mentioned that coffee, you know, becomes moldy. And you're right, it does become moldy. I have found here where we live, depending on the temperature and where the brew has been made, I always know when it becomes moldy. Because I've experienced it, because I've actually done it to just experiment with it, because you can sort of almost see kind of something on the surface, and it smells really, yeah, it just has that off smell. Over here where I live, when I do the brew in the kitchen is quite cold. That's one of the cold rooms in the house. It's even okay up to day 3, but after day 3, no way. But yes, coffee is best if you're doing anything and you want to use that coffee. It's best to put it in the fridge, I guess. But once it's on the papers and it's dried well in front of a heater, or remember everyone, heat gun or hairdryer. Heat gun or hairdryer. If you want to speed things up, you don't have to wait for them to dry. If you really want them, you can always use the top part first and just heat. You know, you can lift up the papers and, you know, put your heat gun here and underneath there and, you know, go for it. So just remember, you have the option of a heat gun in a contained space. Heat gun, you've got heat gun, blow heater, blow dryer I should say. You've got your own heating, whether it's ducted or fireplace, or, you know, obviously you want to stay safe next to your fires, or what I've got here, or outside. You know, that's the thing. So I have never experienced mold on any of my papers ever, because I'm very cautious and mindful. So if there was a brew that I had and it was older in my climate, it might be different in summer. I think with summer I wouldn't leave it longer than a day and a half. But yeah, you've got to know what your product is, but I would never use anything that I felt, nah, I'm not happy with that. I would just make a fresh batch, because I buy cheap coffee and I can do that. So and you'll remember watching this video that I was able to dry these within, so when we were looking at them, I did the whole thing on the 14th, and by the end of the 15th, the papers were ready. Some of them the bottom ones needed to go on the top of the lid, you know, so some of them needed to sit on there, but they were all bone dry. So there's no way that there could be any mold in this. Not that I'm saying I'm a scientist and I've tested this, but I can't see that it would grow mold in these conditions and in that short period of time. Maybe if it was still all damp after 3 days, there could be, but I try to get them, you know, all done as fast as possible, and I was doing it mainly for, you know, the tutorial anyway. So I hope that answers that question. Okay, so thanks for that, Brian. Great question. Great question. But no, if you follow the video and the technique, you shouldn't be getting any mildew or mold, because I've made sure that, yeah. And if you were worried, because that's right, we've done it in a short space of time, no long delays. But if you were worried, I would just get my heat gun and my, well, I don't have a heat gun. I'd get my blow dryer, hair dryer, I should say, and, you know, give it a bit of a blow dry here and there and dry it off. Okay, so thank you for that. All right, now, so who was it? Was it Sheila that, yep, hi Sheila again, suggested a cookie rack for airflow. Great idea, Sheila. So basically, I didn't bring mine out. So if you've got wire racks, so thanks Sheila, and you were worried about, you know, a problem with them getting too soaked at the bottom, why not elevate them with a wire rack? Let me go and get one for you right now. Excuse me a moment. Okay, so we've got a wire rack. Thanks everyone. So we've got a wire rack. So that's what Sheila was recommending. So I guess I could fit 2 of these. I've only got one, but I have got a round one and another slim one. Now, just be mindful though with the racks that they will leave behind whatever coating is on there. There'll be a reaction which can actually be quite effective. However, for me, so definitely use that. I think it's a great idea, Sheila. Love it. Great idea. I'm sure a lot of people will appreciate that one. A lot of our subbies. But for me, because this is a little bit of a weird thing for me. Okay, so for me, squares like that just don't do it for me on a journal page. This is just me. It's not anyone else. So I would want them to be on a diagonal, but it wouldn't fit for me in this instance. So, but it's still an excellent idea. I love that. Maybe I would put a plastic lace over it and therefore stop the transfer of that pattern. But in saying that, don't get me wrong, let me show you an old one of mine. I don't know if you can actually see it, but this is what I did on a wire rack. And I actually very gently pressed on it, and it gave me this kind of quilted effect. It's quite amazing. I'll be back in a sec, everyone. Okay, my SD card was running out, sorry, and I've probably been standing in the shadows. I've been casting a shadow, haven't I? I'm so sorry. Anyway, so this one here was something I did maybe last year or the year before, but what I did was with this one, if you did have a wire rack and you wanted to get an effect like that, because I prefer more of the diamond look of it, I had it, my papers, yeah, I don't know, but I got, yeah, there you can just see the outline. Funny thing. And you see this effect here, that's because of this, you know, because it rusts in certain spots, you know. Yeah, so that's a really pretty effect. So that's just something to keep in mind if you like that kind of effect. Yeah, you don't have to do much. You just spray your coffee on, or dink. I think I dunked my papers in this instance and laid them on. But I just absolutely love it. And I think I might have even kind of got my paper towel just to create that kind of a quilted effect. And I really think it's really pretty. So thanks for reminding me about that, Sheila. I always would have forgotten. I would have forgotten all about it. Okay, I'm back, everyone. So this video has been fast-tracked, by the way. I am still editing, would you believe, my preview of what's to come on my YouTube channel. So everything is kind of stored. Everything came to a screeching halt so that I could kind of address some of the concerns and questions. Yeah, like I said, and you'll get used to me, my videos will not be in chronological order ever. So I will make sure I've got a date stamp for you so that you're not confused. So don't panic too much, because sometimes the papers that are a disaster can actually turn into perfection, truly. So I think I wasn't impressed with any of these originally, but look, I adore these, and as I said, I hoard them because they're just so, I love them. Love. Okay, enough of that. Let's now go and have a look what's going on underneath here. So that's why I thought I better get this out of the way first. Not out of the way, but you know what I mean. Yeah, so let's get on with this and let's have a look. Okay, so whoa, check that out. Hi everyone, it's just me. I just realized that I was probably too far away for you to see, and then of course I realized that my hair was going to go in the way again. I should just put it up, shouldn't I? But I get headaches when I put my hair up. So okay, so yeah, so you would have seen, can you see this bit here? Once again, and really, oh, and on the back, wow. So it may not necessarily completely lighten it, but it will certainly give you more, it will certainly be a lot more, I don't know, pleasing to the eye, I guess. I can't really think of the word. So what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to get my hair dryer. Okay, so I'll be editing this video, so I'm just going to go and get it because I'm really afraid that if I keep stopping and starting, it will overheat the camera. So if you're willing to put up with a bit of hair drying business, then yeah. Or one of the other things I could do, hang on a second. I should have done this with you. I do apologize. So I should have put just plain paper underneath as our mop up, and that was silly of me, but that's what I encourage everyone to do. Put these as your mop up, not paper towels, because then you can, you know, continue to add on that. And I do have tutorials coming on that if I haven't already. Can't remember what I've put up and what I haven't put up. Okay, so I'll just put that there for now. Okay, so I think it's now got the impression in its DNA, paper DNA. All right, so I'm going to go and get the hair dryer. Oh, that's going to be beautiful. Oh my goodness. So once again, don't panic if it's too dark, everyone. Don't panic, because can you see? I don't know. I'll see if I can do a before and after shot. I've learnt to freeze frame pictures in my software editing. I'm learning because that was one of the reasons why I haven't been uploading, was because the way that I used to do it was so incredibly, ridiculously complicated because I didn't have any software. I was just trying to do something, but now the software editing, I'm learning by practice how to play with these. So I'm going to try and get a snapshot of a before and after, and we'll try and put it at the end of the video for you. So let me go and get the blow dryer. Okay, so you can see how I don't view my papers as precious, that's for sure. So I'm just going to put this here now, just to remove it away from there. And this is going to be where it's going to be sitting. Now, if you don't want a, you know, obviously these have grooves. You can always find something like a board to lay it on top of this so that you don't get the grooves in it. So anyway, what we're going to do is we're just going to continue blow dry. Okay, so there we go. Now this is still damp, but not too bad. Now dry. I did do some hair drying on them, and then I walked away. My husband came home. I had a bit of a chat with him, came back, and then I just sort of held them up in front of the fire, or the heater where there's the fans up closer, you know, by hand, and then continued with the hair dryer. So that's just one way of dealing with anything that you want to speed up. You can do that. And you can sit down and do that here, and then do a bit at a time, and then come back. But you can always lift what's there onto here and continue with your work, and then you can move these wherever you wish under the book so that they can start getting flat. Okay, so they're not that bad. They're not really crumpled up, are they? But look at this, everyone. Look at this. Oh my goodness, I am so excited. So this is what I mean by don't be discouraged if you do have papers that don't come out special, because now you've got a foundation that you can work on. And that's what the video on my creating a watermark is all about. If you're not happy with your dried papers and how they've turned out, if you can be bothered, if you're willing to try, because I am, I just think this is such an exciting thing. It really is. And you can get your kids involved as well, and have a bit of fun, like Rachel did with Lulu. Hi Lulu, hey Rachel. Yeah, but you know, obviously it's all up to how you want to do your work. So don't be disheartened, don't be discouraged. So remember how dark that was. So I'm going to try and do a before and after, freeze framing it for you towards the end. Yeah, this is still a bit cool to the touch, but as you can see, it's not as, it's a bit damp there, because this is cardstock, by the way. That's cardstock. This is just copy paper, printing paper. So now I'm going to turn them over. Oh my goodness, it's just wonderful. It's just wonderful. So if they're too dark, there's something that you can do to save them if you so wish. And just remember peaks and valleys. So, you know, you can, sometimes when things lie flat, it's pretty, nothing's happening. There's no inertia. So you want inertia, you're going to have to sort of prop them up. So see how my papers, the plastic's propped up, or even like this? Because what's going to happen is you will get the impressions, just like we did with these. And then the water will pool down somewhere. I'll have to find those tutorials and maybe upload them so you can see what I mean, because I've done a few of them. Yeah, so I've got a few different techniques. It's not just all that vintage effect. There's other effects as well. Yeah. Oh, and there is the boho bohemian coffee staining technique in my playlist also. But yeah. So, oops, I keep going to the wrong way. So, yeah, so remember we had these here. Now what I should have done was had my paper's ready for mopping up. And so some of your boring papers, if you've got any papers that you think are boring, just use them as your mop up. And that's what I explain in the description box tutorial. It's so worth having a look. It won't take long for you to watch, but, or it might, I can't remember. Sorry, but yeah. Use papers as your mop up, because you will get some stunning results just doing that, and you haven't even tried. That's what's really remarkable. Okay, so once again, this is what it looks like. So for those of you that are worried about mildew or mold, like Brian was talking about, then I recommend, if that is your concern, or you're living in a climate that's very humid, then definitely go for a blow dryer or a heat gun between the layers, just to make sure that you're getting a lot of hot air that's drying it out. That's just another way of dealing with this technique. You may choose that you may want to oven dry them. That's your choice. If you felt you were concerned about it gathering mold. So that's understandable, for sure. It is a valid concern, for sure. When my husband got home, I talked to him about the gathering of water. Now, you may have noticed, though, that even though, which I absolutely love this, I think that looks amazing, but it may still be dark for some. And I should have thought of this, but I didn't. So what I'm going to do is now I'm going to do it with the water. So I'm just going to spray this. I know you're probably all screaming, what are you doing? What are you doing? But I'm just going to spray it with water, okay? Because I don't mind. That's what it's going to do now. And I could pop it up with some of the plastic. So maybe we could do that underneath it. I should really have my mop-up paper, shouldn't I? Where's my mop-up paper? Okay. My mop-up paper, and I'll show you what I was going to do anyway. So let's put some mop-up paper underneath here and let it do its thing. Okay, so I'm just going to leave it, and while we're talking you might be able to see what's happening here. So say for example you like that and you don't want to lose that, you can choose the direction that the water goes. That's what I mean. So you can prop it up so that's protected, and maybe that could be off the side. But yeah, anyway, I'll let it do its thing. Now over here, what I'm going to do, which may affect that, I just wanted to show you something. Remember how we were talking about excess, what do we call it? Excess liquid. So our liquid glue. I wanted to just show you something. So just pretend now, okay, so this is probably going to spread everywhere. Alright, so we've got excess liquid, and this is what my husband was saying when he got home. I asked him what we could do if we don't have that turkey baster thingy. Well, all you would need to do is you would tip this up, tip it and lean it against something to get your excess water. I don't know, can you see that? No, probably not. Let me just move it over, sorry. Okay. So you would be tipping it over, propping it over, I don't know, however, and then just use a good sponge. Like if you've got one of those car sponge thingies, some sponges are just miracle things, so you can just sponge things up. You know, it doesn't matter if there's just a tiny bit of dampness, but if you were really concerned and you don't have a turkey bastery thingy, which I don't know, like I said, I've got no idea what they are, that's another way of dealing with your excess liquid. You can just mop it up with a sponge. And this is the tiniest sponge that I've got. I actually use it for my inking, because that's what I use for my, yeah, so I've got a few of them, and for inking my edges. Yeah, so see, so that's wasn't that easy? So excess moisture, if that's a problem, especially if you're in a humid climate, or you're worried that it's just going to make your papers too soggy, then why not just use your household sponge? You might even find a sponge that's even, you know, better than that. Mine's just a little piddly thing, it's just tiny, you know, and but my husband, he's got beautiful big sponges for car washing his car, his work car, and the family car, so you could easily just with one squelch it up. So that's what he said. He said the old-fashioned way, the cheapest way, is just to use a humble sponge. So there you go. Thanks to my beautiful husband who thinks of genius ideas. So very, very grateful to him. Now, someone said something and I forgot to mention this. So Sheila again, hi Sheila, said she has been told, or she has used this. I'm not sure, Sheila. I can't remember because I can't read my writing. She said OxyClean gets out coffee stains. OxyClean. Yeah, OxyClean. I don't know OxyClean. I don't know if it's, I don't know where you're from, Sheila, whether it's from America or UK or Europe. I don't know OxyClean, but thank you. For those that know OxyClean, it gets out coffee stains. So there you go. Alright, so thanks everyone. This has been such a haphazard video. I know, I do apologize that it's a haphazard video. But I just felt responsible that I had to sort of come and, you know, do something about it. And so this is cardstock again. And just sort of, let's see what it'll do. So I'll come back again and I will show you, you know, what's happening there. But until then, I just wanted to say thank you everyone, a huge thank you to everyone who's joined my channel and your lovely comments, and a huge thank you to beautiful Rachel of Roxy Creations. Thanks Rach. I really appreciate your shout out, it's so kind of you. And to everyone, a really warm and gracious thank you. I really appreciate it, and I'm so happy that I can be sharing this technique. If you like to be a bit sciencey and experiment with things, you are going to really enjoy the magic that happens with this kind of stuff. It really is pretty special. So I'll just take you closer in and we'll do a close-up of this one. This one is still a bit damp, but you can see how much it has lightened. And now the other thing is, see, I love grunge. So I love the rustic grungeness of papers. So for me, I love this now. So I must admit, before I liked it, but I love this now. So, because remember I encouraged you not to just lie things flat. You know, it's good to add a bit of peak and valley, because that's when you get a great effect. So for those of you that like grunge, this would be definitely up your alley. Like, oh, I'm just in love with this page. Now this one here was what we did before. So yeah. And can you hear it rustling? Thanks for coming to my show and share. I'm sure there was something else I had to share with you. I can't remember. But yeah. So once again, beautiful results from just playing with water today. That's all I did. And don't forget to mop up your excess. Oops. Don't forget, remember, we've got that, a sponge, just a sponge to mop up the excess. And then if you wanted to, you can get your hand in and splat the top parts up, you know, or reuse it as quickly as possible, because you don't want mold hanging around, because as Brian was saying, you know, coffee does go moldy. And just remember, another way of using those is to prop up papers that you are bored with, because if you use them as prop ups, right, you can still get incredible results. And that's what happened here, and a little bit with that there. You can just sort of pick it up a little bit. Anyway, I think I'm out of frame and casting shadow again. And use your papers to mop up. So use your papers to mop up, because they can become the basis of your next lot of coffee staining, and you can once again get amazing results. Video only because I felt that I needed to, you know, just give you extra information that I wasn't sort of mindful of when I did that video. So that's why I guess people's feedback is always important. So thank you guys for all your feedback, for your suggestions. They have been fantastic. Your questions. If I've missed anyone or have done this video and more comments have come up since then, I do apologize for missing out on you, but I will try my hardest to get back to you all, and thank you for your beautiful comments. So thank you guys. Please take care of your lovely selves. Thank you for putting up with me and my verbiage and my long-windedness and my ums and ahs and my all sorts of fumbly things. But I'm very grateful to you all, and I wish you well. And until next time on my show and share, please take care. Thanks everyone. Take care. Bye.